5, 4.
Bev Fisher qualified as a builder in the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame for his contribution to the sport as a coach, and also has used his expertise to develop and maintain baseball facilities. Bev, you started into coaching in the 1970s at the North Kildonan Community Club, then moved on to the Elmwood Giant and Bonnie Vittel organizations. Altogether, you were into coaching for over 40 years. You must have enjoyed what could have been a challenge.
It was always an enjoyment. It started out, as often happens, teaching your own kid, getting involved with your own boy. And when I worked through his time, I found that it was a great relaxation tool for me for my professional life. And so you just keep going.
Yes, on and on.
And on and on.
Yeah.
And I had a tolerant wife who said, go to it.
Very important to have that support, I'm sure. Yeah.
And it sort of fit my professional life because I was involved in design and construction, that sort of thing, and summer and busy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always around also.
How about the coaching aspect? Anything that sticks out as a special feature, highlight for you?
Well, I quite enjoyed the last 10 years when I coached with I don't know if it was 10, but approximately 10 years I coached with the Winnipeg Wolves. Young people, old man, makes you feel young, does you a lot of good.
Bev is an engineer by profession, and his second claim to fame was in building and upgrading baseball fields in North Kildonan and Elmwood. Baseball people in Winnipeg say that was right up your alley.
Yeah, it started out when I was coaching in North Kildonan. The kids really didn't have a good diamond to play on, and I had or to practice on, and I knew what it was like to play on bad ball diamonds growing up, and so I always made a point: we're going to make a diamond that these kids will not be afraid to play on.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how it started. And then I had the company that I worked with. We had the tools, the engineering company, and my involvement there, I could easily access structural engineers and all the components you have to have. And so when I got involved with the Elmwood Giants in 1976, they were sort of in a position where they had to start doing some new things. And I came along, I was a volunteer, I had the right set of tools, so to speak, and I had the people behind me that I could go and get the stuff from. I was in that position, and I didn't have to raise the money.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
And so I went from there, and we had some experience at I had a division that was involved in recreation, and out of that flowed they did the design on the Whittier Park, and they did the design on the quad out on Portage Avenue West.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
And so it sort of all tied together. I could go access those people.
Which was advantageous.
Advantageous.
You need volunteers, of course, to maintain facilities, but you also need that professional guidance, and that's where you came in. I guess it's been a labor of love, we could call it that for you.
Well, it's some way I could assist.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It was never a technically demanding thing to do, but I think in time we put some discipline into how we made things and how we looked after them, and I think that's starting to pay off.
You're mainly responsible for installing the electronic scoreboard in Elmwood, and then, as you mentioned, Whittier Park, and then you turned the lights on over fields in St. James. That adds up to progress for baseball in Manitoba, Bev, I would say. Yeah?
Well, it took a long time. Like, it didn't happen. You know, we started putting the lights in '89, and we've relamped once or twice since then. But until that time, there was no baseball light in Manitoba,
Right.
you know, so.
We had old Osborne Stadium and
Right.
not much
And
more.
everything that was any good, they tore down, so.
There's a major cost factor in the upgrading. Did you have to cut corners to achieve a positive end and result for baseball?
I don't think we've cut any corners. We
Okay.
try and match up what we build to what we can afford. And it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you have to take a little bit less. That doesn't mean you have to drop the quality. So, but it does mean you may do with a little bit less. You know, you may end up with a smaller utility building or something like that, but you don't want to lose the quality. You particularly don't want to lose the quality of the work you do on the playing surface. We've always made very sure that whatever we did out there was good, because that has a big impact on how you play the game.
By all means. Bev, what's your opinion on the progress of baseball in Manitoba?
I guess I've sort of got a mixed feeling about it. I think the players that represent us are probably better, but I think there's fewer players. I'm not completely sold on the idea of kids going down south and spending a lot of money. And I'm not sure that they get that much skills improvement. I was around when Corey Koski went. There's a huge difference between when Corey went and what he was. And some of the people that go now. And they all got dreams, I recognize that, but sometimes I think they'd be better off supporting their own university, wouldn't they?
Tell me, does your election to the Hall of Fame feel like a pat on the back?
I'm very humble about it, very proud.
Bev Fisher, yes, he's a true builder for his sport and a very deserving member of the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Bob.